Did you know the property taxes on your home could affect the sale of your home? My name is Jan Dijkers, and I am a real estate expert and broker at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, the Loft Warehouse. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you all about why you should consider your property taxes when selling your home and make sure that they are in good shape for the next sale. Sometimes property taxes are overassessed and the buyers will inherit them. The best practice is to get them right-sized for sale. So in order to break this down, I am going to get a little granular and talk about the difference between taxable value and state equalized value of a property. The taxable value is the amount of taxes you as the owner pay on when you own the property. And the taxable value can only go up while you own the property 5% at the most, or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. Now, the state equalized value is the amount that is based on what the city or municipality you live in says that your property is worth. So the state equalized value can be significantly higher than the taxable value if you've owned the property for a long time. Take this example in St. Clair Shores. So this property, as you can see, and we just have the history going back as far as 2020, these people have owned the property for a long time, since the late 90s. So their taxable value is only going up that 5%, or the rate of inflation, whichever is less every year. Whereas the state equalized value is going up to match whatever the municipality believes that the property is worth on any given year, based on the sales in the area. So in this case, in 2020, the city of St. Clair Shores believed that the property was worth about $186,000, and then in 2021, $192,000, and so on and so on. So if you can see here, there was a transfer of ownership in 2023. So what happens to the taxable value whenever a property is sold is that the year after, the taxable value uncaps to become the same value as the state equalized value. And then after that, it can only go up 5% a year, or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. So in this case, we see a transfer of ownership in 2023. And we also saw that the city reassessed the property from an SEV of 110 or 220,000 to an SEV of 125,000 or 250,000. And at that same time, that uncapping effect happened and the taxable value went up to meet the state equalized value. And if we were to look at the 2025 numbers, which aren't out yet, we would see that the taxable value is only going up 5% a year, or the rate of inflation, whichever is less, but the state equalized value may be assessed quite higher than that. Let's wait to see. If you want to find out more information about this, see my other videos on how to calculate your taxes. So as you can see from this example, you might be paying a lower amount, but your buyer is going to inherit the taxes of a much higher amount. Now, if your property is assessed correctly at the market value, you don't have a lot to worry about. Now, this property sold for $225,000, and at the time of sale, it was assessed at $220,000. So in this case, this seller was in good shape. But I'm going to show you another example that was very different. So here is a property in East English Village. And as you can see, the property sold for $260,000 back in 2024. So in 2023, as you can see, this property has been owned by the same owner for quite a long period of time. And so that owner's property taxable value was only going up 5%, or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. So as you can see, the property was assessed quite higher if we look at the state equalized value. In fact, in 2024, the year that this seller put the property up for sale, the state equalized value was $195,000, or a market value of $390,000, almost $400,000. And in this area, there are no properties that sell for this amount. So this property is obviously overassessed. And so when the buyers went to purchase this property in 2024, the taxable value uncapped to meet the state equalized value, meaning that they were looking at paying a tax bill based on a price much higher than they purchased. They purchased for $260,000. They're being taxed at almost $400,000. So the seller could have foresaw that this was going to be a problem and appealed the taxes before the sale. Now, you get a chance to appeal your taxes once a year in usually January or February of every year, but it does vary by municipality. So you want to Google or call your assessor and find out when that is. You will get a notice before the appeal period about what your taxes are assessed for. It's a notice. They look the same in all the municipalities. It's a standard state of Michigan form. It may be different colors. The city of Detroit, it's yellow, and other cities it's white, but it says right at the top, this is not a tax bill. So once you get that document, there will be specific instructions on when to appeal. It will also tell you what your tax bill is going to be for the next year. So if you are planning on selling and you have some idea what your property is worth and you are being assessed way higher than you know that you can sell your property for, it could be in your best interest to appeal your taxes in advance. Of course, the buyer can also appeal after they purchase the property, but this could be a turnoff for the buyer. It's a hassle. It's an unknown. It's daunting. And they don't know if they are going to be approved for it. So when they look at what am I going to be paying for taxes next year after I buy this property, and it's a really high number, way higher than it should be, could be a big turnoff for the sale. So the appeals are often a process that requires you to provide market data for your home to show what you believe the current value is based on other sales in your near area of similar properties. So if you are thinking of selling sometime in the future, this should be on your mind. Besides decluttering and preparing your home and making sure all of the repairs are done, staging and presenting and all of that, make sure your property taxes are staged too. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, I would love to hear some feedback from you. Is this anything that you've ever thought of before? Is this new information for you? Would you like any assistance or guidance in the process? I would love to hear from you. So leave me a comment, shoot me a DM, or send me an email. Thanks for watching.